All right, guys, we got a 2024 Polaris Sportsman 570 EPS. Bought this thing, I believe, about 2 weeks ago, and I've put, I think, right at 100 miles on it. I'm due for my first service, but I was wanting to give you guys a few things that I really like about these new Sportsmans. I've owned a bunch of Polarises. I've owned a lot of four-wheelers, side-by-sides, dirt bikes. I've never owned a brand new one. This is the first brand new one I've ever bought. But years ago, I started buying Polaris when I was young, and I've always loved them. But a few things that I'm gonna say probably the best things that I could think of that I really enjoy with this is the first thing would be comfort. This thing is just unbelievably comfortable. It rides great, even with, I know the upgraded versions have the double A arms, I believe, and this one has a strut. Even with the strut, I mean, that strut is tried and true. They've had them for years and years, and it rides great. It handles well. Whenever you sit down, you feel comfortable. The bars are where they need to be. It's all in all, it's really enjoyable to ride. The second would be power. It actually has really good power for a 570. I mean, it does. It'll impress you. It's not no 850 or 1000, but for a 570, it does well. It holds its own. The third would be probably the power steering. The power steering on these, I've heard, people on YouTube say that Grizzly has the best power steering, or, whoever has the best power steering. I'm telling you, it is absolutely hard to beat Polaris on power steering. That's my personal preference. I love how you can switch it from high, medium to low. I do wish it was a little bit easier to get in, to switch from high, medium, and low. But nonetheless, I absolutely love it. Super responsive. It just makes it that much more enjoyable to ride. The next thing would probably be the lights. I really like these. That's the running lights. You kind of got the LED bars, and then that's low. You just got the two there and there, and then high is all of them, everything. And man, they are super bright. I was gonna put a light bar on it, but you definitely don't need to with them. Now, this model didn't come with these lights. I actually ordered them and put them on myself. But nonetheless, they're Polaris, and actually, no, I take that back. These aren't Polaris. Ordered these off Amazon. SUATV, I think, is a brand. But nonetheless, they're the exact same thing as Polaris. So, in that case, I really like the lighting. The winch is another thing that I put on there. It's a 3,500-pound Polaris winch. It was literally plug and play. It come with absolutely everything. It come with the handlebar mount, which is fantastic. And so the next thing would probably be the four-wheel drive. I love Polaris's on-demand four-wheel drive. It's always been great. It hooks up good. it locks in when you need it. I've never had any problems out of their four-wheel drive. It's did great. The next thing would probably be, and I know a lot of people say that these don't have a lot of storage on them, but when you look at other four-wheelers and things, these actually do have a decent little bit of storage. And I mean, you know, it stays dry, it stays clean. So, and the next thing would probably be the ease of getting access to the battery. It's right underneath there. And so I will, well, I'll go ahead and do it in this video too. There's a few things that I dislike about it. And they're minor, but I kind of wish that Polaris would slow down and look at the details and make sure everything is good before they send them out. But like, so like these rack extensions have 2 bolts here. It's missing a bolt there. Now, granted, my dealer said that they would give me some, nonetheless. That's, I mean, come on. That's plain as day. They should have caught that. That bothers me. The next thing would be, and like I say, these are all small things, but I'm just kind of being picky. The next thing would be is how these plastics go together here. I mean, it don't look that bad in the video, but that's actually a decent little gap. And they're kind of, you know, they're kind of rough. Like I say, it's not that big of a deal. It's just something that I've noticed. Let's see, what else? Oh, and another thing, whenever I was changing these lights out, this adjustment right here was cross-threaded into that J-clip that it goes into. So I actually had to put a new J-clip on there because it was cross-threaded. So it's just a couple little things like that that's like, man, I wish, you know, they make a really good four-wheeler and side-by-side. I think they should just slow down and look at the details and spend a little bit more time on getting everything, you know, nice. Everything finished well. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else that I dislike about it. Another thing. Again, it might not be the greatest, but I really enjoy this dash. I mean, it's easy to use. It's kind of right there. It's decent size for, you know, for something that's base model, I guess, basically. Now, I have looked into putting the ride command on there, and knowing me, I probably will. It's pricey, but I like it, and I'll probably put something like that on there. That was the other thing. On all my other Polarises, they was pretty easy to get into, like neutral, reverse, you know, of course, high and low. On this one, it is really, the tolerance is really tight between neutral and reverse. So if you're going from park to reverse, a lot of times I'll hit neutral almost every single time. That was the other thing that I was trying to think of. I knew there was a few of them. So that's something that kind of bothers me is it's not really a pain to get in reverse, but more times than not, I'm hitting neutral and then having to go back in reverse. It's just really tight tolerance there. As far as the rest of them, obviously, high and low and park and all that, it's easy to get into. But it's just, I wish they would have spaced the reverse and the neutral out, or the reverse and park out, something a little bit more to make it just a little bit easier to get in. But other than that, yeah, it's been great. We took it on a good ride there this past weekend, and it was comfortable, no problems. It actually does very well on gas. It sips gas pretty well, so that's always a plus. But yeah, I'm going to do a few things to it. Obviously, tires and wheels when these get wore down. I'm probably going to do the ride command, even though it's outrageous. I want it and I have to have it. And yeah, it's a great bike, and hopefully it serves us well. I'll probably put out a few more videos of it, just some riding, or if I find anything else that I think needs to be mentioned. I've been all over it. Everything was tight from factory. The fluids was good. The levels was good, all that. So, like I say, other than the small complaints that I have, I love it. And I would definitely recommend it to everyone. But I would definitely recommend the EPS and up. I wouldn't recommend the non-EPS unless, you know, I don't know, you kind of get spoiled. I love EPS, and I think once you ride EPS, it's really hard to go back to anything else. But if I had to do it over again, I would have probably went with maybe the 2-up or the trail. But nonetheless, I mean, I love it, and it's doing good. So hopefully it'll continue to do so, and we'll get some good use out of it. But until next time.